What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 6th of September, 2015. Hope everybody's having a great Labor Day weekend. What another week of madness. As always, the first link below will take you to the Blogspot post. That's where you can find all of these links I'm about to give you. Apparently, there's a war been declared on cops. This is the latest. Did Black Lives Matter member kill Texas cop? Apparently, a Texas cop outside of the other one has been killed in his home now. So we got two dead cops in Texas. They're looking at the Black Lives Movement matter on that. I'll put a video below that. Check this out. Black activist says it's open season on killing crackers and white cops. It's the white man's fault, huh? You know, of course, I'll be labeled racist for even saying that. But, you know, take a look at the face of pure ignorance. I'll put a link to the video. Apparently, it doesn't violate YouTube terms of service, him calling for violence against, law enforcement and white people. Massive manhunt after Illinois officer death, 3 suspects at large. This is up in the northern Chicago area, north of Chicago in Illinois. Officer gunned down, 3 people on the loose. Don't know who did it, don't know a motive. MPD officer confronted by crowd, punched, police say. This happened out of Madison, Wisconsin. Got another one here. Gunman still at large. Schools closed after cop car fired on near Boston. This on September 3rd. Got this here. Check this out. Manager at fast food restaurant fired after denying service to police officer. This happened down in Florida. So all across the nation, people are turning on law enforcement. I do not agree with murdering cops. But I have to say, how many people can the cops murder before people start to react? This is just a horrible situation. And all the while, the mainstream media is doing their part, pushing the race card. Here's an article from CNN. Go ahead, admit you are racist. CNN wants you to admit that you are racist. You people in the mainstream media should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed of yourselves. You are dividing this nation. You are participating in the downfall of American society. I hope you're proud of yourselves. There is other news going on. 2 soldiers injured in military Blackhawk chopper crash. This happened out of Colorado. We had another chopper crash. Marine killed. This is out of North Carolina. So 2 military choppers down, 1 Marine killed. 1 more in the General Bin. Dozens of North Carolina students sent home due to mysterious illness. That on September 2nd. Not sure what's up with that. Over to financial news. How the Dow did on Friday. It looks like it fell 272 points to close at 16,102.38. For the week, the Dow was down 540, so the Dow continues to slide. I'm hearing some doomy stuff coming up for the next week. I don't know, man. It is September. We're expecting doom, are we not? Unemployment rate dips to 5.1% amid 173,000 new jobs in August. The unemployment rate is 5.1%. That's from NPR. Then why did the Dow go down 300 points? Maybe because of this. A record 94 million. 94 million Americans not in the labor force. Participation rate stuck at 38-year low for the 3rd straight month. So the unemployment number does not count the 94 million people who've dropped off the, once it's so long these people drop off, they're not included in the unemployment number, even though they're still unemployed. So, CNBC and all these people up here talking about, we don't understand why the Dow's down 300 points. Yes, you do. You know exactly why. Tell people the truth. Zero Hedge puts this out. Talk about people being out of work. The welfare state is the new American way of life. They got a write-up on that. Check it out. Hit by cheap oil, Canada's economy falls into recession. This from investing.com on September 1. We got Target. Speaking of Canada, Target's no longer in Canada, so back in the United States, Target plans to serve cocktails to shoppers. We'll get them drunk. Maybe they'll spend some money. That from Hawaii News Now. Another one from Zero Hedge. We got It's All Gold. Saudi king arrives in D.C., books all the rooms at the Four Seasons. Saudi, living in style in D.C. Put a link to that. One more in the General Bin. Mr. Magoo is at it again. Here's an article talking about healthcare while all these people are out of work. CNBC doesn't understand what's going on. Today, healthcare in the United States costs approximately 500% more than the rest of the world. And I don't have a link, but I remember seeing an article a while back about how so many people are on so many drugs in the United States that it's actually affecting the water supply. Like municipalities cannot filter out. It's affecting everyone's water. There's so much drugs in the system. Everybody's drugged at this point. Over to New World Order and police state news, because the mainstream media can't figure out most of the time why people have a problem with law enforcement in this country. I do not get any joy out of reporting this stuff to you. This is absolutely, empires rise and fall. We are certainly in our descent. We got second video emerges of police shooting man with hands raised. Where did this happen at? This is from USA Today down in Texas. Apparently 2 videos, cops shoot and kill a man with his hands up. You tell me. Death of man at Texas jail ruled homicide. Another man has died in police custody, apparently in the police department lobby. RT's got a video on it, as well as I will put a link to a YouTube video. This man's brother did a very emotional video, 1357, going over, you tell me. Was this man, maybe he had some drugs in his system, maybe he wasn't acting right. I believe law enforcement should be able to use deadly force if they feel their lives or someone else's life is in danger. I don't know what threat this man permitted that caused this cop to put his knee on his neck with enough pressure to kill him. Watch the video. There it is. I got another one here. Officer critically wounded, homeowner shot, and dog killed after cops show up the wrong house. Cops go into the wrong house. I don't know why. Homeowner, I guess, shoots the cop. The cops shoot the homeowner and kill his dog. This happened out of the Atlanta area. RT puts this out. 3 California prison guards arrested over brutal murder of mentally ill inmate. That's September 4. We got more people dying in jail. Cell phone records of officer telling driver he was pulled over for making direct eye contact. That is some Nazi Germany bullshit, man. I'll put a link to it. This thing going on with this woman who's been jailed because she will not issue. Let's switch over to the gay, and lesbian agenda. I'm all for gay rights. I realize people are going to unsubscribe now. I am for people being free. If you're 2 men, 2 women, I don't understand gay people, but I don't have anything against gay people. But now you have a situation where a county clerk has been arrested, found in contempt of court because she will not issue marriage licenses. When the Supreme Court has ruled that, gay marriage okay now. So this is a very conflicting topic for a lot of people, and it's understandable. I could definitely, as someone who doesn't subscribe to a particular belief system, I could see both sides of the argument. My cousin did a write-up on this. Can Sarah Palin be denied a hunting license based on religious beliefs? Comparing it to the woman who's now jailed because she will not issue marriage license because of her religious beliefs. My cousin writes for the Huffington Post now, by the way. I'll put a link to his article. It'll make you think. Judge who jailed now. Is there I could see both sides of the argument, but is there a gay and lesbian agenda in the United States? I believe there is. In fact, look at this. Judge who jailed Kim Davis ordered students who opposed homosexuality to be re-educated. Re-educated if you oppose homosexuality. So yes, I believe there is definitely an agenda. And like I say, it's everybody's got a different view on this. You got people over here, people over there, Adam and Eve and all this. Look, this is very shaky ground. That's all I can say. I'm not going to go on a big tirade about it. We got other news going on. Community meets on Troy transgender policy. Speaking of the gay and lesbian agenda, the transgender, I am, like I said, I am for freedom. I am for people being whoever the hell they want to be. This is America. You can do whatever you want to. But lines are being crossed, in my opinion. Here is a situation where, girls want to use the boys' room and boys want to use the girls' room at the school. I don't think that's right. I got another one here out of St. Louis. Protest staged over transgender students' right to use girls' locker room. What is happening to society? Tell me your thought. I'm at a loss. I don't know. Law-abiding foster parents lose kids because they own a firearm. The gun agenda, September 1. You can't be a foster parent, I guess, if you own a firearm legally. What do you think about that? Shall not be infringed. I guess you can't be a foster parent. Government accuses company of discrimination over employees having to prove citizenship status. Let's switch over to the immigration agenda. Discrimination because we want to know that you're a citizen of this country before we employ you. What do you think about that? Daily Mail. Look at this. You have this refugee crisis going on over in Europe. Now look at this. Let me remind you from February 2015. Old article from the Daily Mail. ISIS threatens to send 500,000 migrants to Europe as a psychological weapon, calling for echo of Gaddafi's prophecy that the Mediterranean will become a sea of chaos. Is that what we're watching now all these months later? I'll put a link to it. Tell me what you think. We got, be advised, my friends in Canada, Ontario calls for Ottawa to bring Syrian refugees to Canada. And hundreds of thousands, if not millions of these people are going to end up in the United States. Maybe tied to a terrorist organization, maybe not. But what a difference does it make? It's a new world order. No borders. Chris Christie comes out. Look at this. RFID agenda says we should track immigrants like FedEx packages. What exactly do you mean? They should have like an identifier stamped on them like Nazi Germany? Is that what you mean? There is an immigration problem, but is the answer microchipping or rubber stamping or putting some sort of electronic identifier on a human being? We were told years ago that the whole RFID, all that shit, will be sold to us under the pretext that we need it. I bet there's a lot of people in this country who would support this idea. They don't even know what they're supporting. Tell me your thoughts. That from CNN Politics, by the way. We got Israel bans journalists from voicing opinions in newscasts. Well, why not? That was the last one in New World Order. But anyway, like journalists tell us the truth anyway. Over to World War III news. It is heating up in the World War III world. Russia puts boots on the ground in Syria. Be advised, 9/1/2015 from the Daily Beast. U.S. shadowing Russian ship in Atlantic near nuclear submarine areas. Okay, we got, be advised, they're closing in. I don't know. Chinese Navy ships enter U.S. territory, come within miles of the coast. I believe this is going on off the coast of Alaska. So you got China over here, Russia over here. I don't know. Look at this. While this is going on, this Jade Helm, September, Doom, whatever you want to call it, FAA says anti-collision systems used by Florida aircraft are unreliable due to military activity. Apparently due to military training or whatever's going on in Florida. Anti-collision systems are, is this going to be the grounds for some sort of false flag to come in? Is this some sort of warning that, I don't know, that's September 3rd. Be advised, my friends in Florida. We got, let me get this out of the way. We got ceremony marks 70th anniversary of World War II's official end. Did it ever end? Well, if it did, World War III right around the corner. You got subs and ships all over the place. Just takes one missile. Armageddon, U.S. Speaking of missiles, Armageddon, U.S. to resupply Israel's bombs and missiles arsenal. Sell attack choppers to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia, South Arabia. What am I talking about? Meanwhile, look at this. Donald Trump says nuclear deal calls for U.S. to defend Iran against Israeli attack. So, just another example of how all sides are funded by the same people. In my opinion. That from the J Post, by the way. A couple more. We got Operation Jade Helm continues in Texas. Here's a new article, August 31, 2015, from my friends in Texas, local media. Meanwhile, Islamist terror threat in U.S. rapidly growing, Homeland Security Committee says. This, 9/5/2015. They are priming us. Of course, they've been doing this for years, have they not? Just be advised. Operation Blackjack Jericho hit? I have no idea. General Petraeus says use of Al-Qaeda fighters to beat ISIS. Al-Qaeda, who supposedly attacked us on 9/11. 9/11 was an inside job, but Petraeus says use Al-Qaeda fighters to beat ISIS. So we're going to buddy up with the people. It's all Al-Qaeda, is it not? I'll put a link to that article that came out on 8/31/15. A couple more, this was foretold in a video game trailer. Anybody remember the video game Homefront about North and South Korea uniting? How did that one end? Look at this. Pay attention. South Korea to begin discussions with China on Korea's unification. There are talks going on about North and South Korea unifying. Why am I alarmed by that? Because the next link I'll put under that, the Homefront Future History trailer, March 15, 2011. It is in that video game trailer. Tell me what you think. Well, I feel like I'm running on forever. It was just a lot in the World War III, man. Tell me to shut up at any time. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news now. USGS. Why has these significant earthquakes not been updated? You're telling me the last big earthquake occurred on 8/17? This is obviously out of date. However, it looks like all the small quakes are updated. I'll put a link to the USGS. Hopefully it fixes itself. If not, we're going to have to find another link because this is just not reliable. We got September 27th. Be advised, more September doom. We've waited 3 decades for the moon to do this. Look at this. Apparently there's going to be a, what do they call it? Supermoon lunar eclipse. September 27th. You know how the Illuminati likes their eclipses. Put a link to that. Check this out. Atlas V rocket leaves strange sight in southwest Florida skies. Apparently, Atlas V took off to the ISS or whatever. Look at what it left behind. Does that remind you of anything? The Norway Spiral, does anybody remember that? I'll put a link to the video of the Norway Spiral. Looks eerily similar, plus I like the music in the video. Whoever put that together did a good job. That was December 2009. So, I don't know, that was blamed on a failed Russian rocket or some nonsense. I don't know, man. Portal, CERN, they tell us in the news, they're lying to us constantly. Who knows? Massive rock threatening to crash into base of Arizona dam. Be advised, my friends in Arizona, you want to be aware of that from Yahoo News. No, where's the damn tour? 60,000 antelope dead in 4 days, and no one knows why. Antelope are dying, animals are dying. Is it Bible prophecy? I have no idea. Daily Mail puts this out. Thousands of fish mysteriously wash up on Queensland beach, then vanish back into the sea 24 hours later. Rapture? I have no idea. Meanwhile, a 30-foot shark has washed up on the beach in Maine, dies despite rescue efforts. That sucks. Rest in peace, man. Over to, where are we? Strange and bizarre news already. New Jersey prosecutor says fight club at daycare. A fight club at a daycare. Wow, that's all I could say. Anti-Media puts this out. Artificially intelligent robot tells creator it would keep humans in a people zoo. in a people's zoo. Well, I might agree with the robot because humans are absolutely crazy. In fact, let me give you some of that. Cop who, now look at this, with all these cops being shot and all this stuff going on, this is insane. Cop who claimed he was targeted by gunmen, fabricated story, police say. A massive manhunt launched after Millis officer reports shooting. Apparently, he made the whole thing up, set his own car on fire. I don't know. Meanwhile, this thing going up in northern Chicago, massive manhunt for the guys who killed this cop. Woman charged after lying about spotting Fox Lake suspects in Volo, authorities say. Apparently, she wanted some attention, so she called in and says, "I just saw these guys." That is you know, you got thousands of police officers looking for cop killers. How stupid can you be to do something like that? Just my opinion. I should say it's just my opinion because someone might sue me for slander. Look at this. You could soon be seeing these boxes on the streets of Tacoma. It might be the worst idea ever. Apparently, Tacoma is toying with the idea of putting boxes on the street, look like mailboxes, but they're like gun drop boxes. You can just drop your gun in there. I'll put a link to the story. We got 3 U.S. citizens sentenced for conspiracy to start a revolution using WMDs. What? This is about 8:31 from Zero Hedge. I have not read into it, but I don't know. Police officer facing arrest for burglary kills himself. Okay, well, this cop kills himself. Maybe he really did the burglary. I don't know. September 1, 2015. Put a link to that. U.S. Open. New York teacher arrested for a drone crash into the stands. Apparently, his drone ran out of batteries, crashed, might have hurt somebody. I don't know that. BBC, he's been arrested for that. It's a drone. It wasn't me. McDonald's worker pulled from drive-through window and beaten. This September 3rd from Hawaii News Now. Apparently, this happened out of Louisiana. You know, drop these people in the middle of the Afghanistan desert, I say. We got a couple more, actually one more here. Teen dies after playing video game for 22 hours straight. Be advised, if you play video games, you want to be aware of that. For all other news, please check my favorite videos. I have favorited tons of videos over the past week. Thank you to everybody who puts out content, keeping me and everyone else informed. You got to pull it up. There's all kinds of great stuff over there. Stuff I didn't talk about here. Other people are talking about it. So definitely check it out. I got a couple shout outs this week. Shout out to the Salmon Spawns on Obama during Alaska visit. Apparently a fish has pissed on Obama's shoes. I'll put a link to that. Shout out to that fish. CBS News has a story on that. Shout out to, speaking of Obama, shout out to Pastor James David Manning over at Outlaw Worldwide. Did a great video. It is kind of long, 25 minutes on Obama's third term, just talking about current events and whatnot. Always good to hear from Pastor Manning. Shout out to Jam Noise 72. It's good to hear from you again. She did a video on the propaganda filmed in Virginia, the whole Virginia shooting. She's talking about that and how governments are allowed to use propaganda to you know, manipulate the people through the media and all that. And one more shout out at the bottom. Shout out to Dabu77. Be advised, false flag, watch, alert, you know, whatever, Operation Blackjack, Jericho, whatever you want to call it. Boston Drill says DOD contractor is hiring role players for 2 sessions in September. Here we are in September, the month of doom, right? Check out Dabu's information. He has got the information on that. Something else going to go down in Boston? I have no idea. Tell me what you think about all this madness. You know, that's the end of the report. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I think it's suck this. The worst of YouTube doesn't belong here. Please rate, though. It helps it move around. I do appreciate it. You can also follow me on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. I got more and more people saying they don't get my videos in their feed. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Google+. I post all the videos up there as soon as they're up, so hopefully if you follow me on every one of those, you should get me on at least one of them. That's all I got, guys. You know, another week of madness. What's to come? You know, as I said, this video, I'm covering current events and just giving my opinions. I have no intention to slander anyone, nor have I ever had. I've been accused in the past week of slandering the poor parents. And why? Because I think they're full of shit? Because I think that they're 2 parents that don't look like they lost their daughter? That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I usually am wrong. So, yeah, I probably am wrong. Tell me what you think about all this madness, though. You guys take care, stay safe. Have a good rest of the weekend, Labor Day weekend. Have fun. I will see you on the next one.